Hi guys, I'm Sumit Tripathi and I help business owners close high ticket deals. And today we're going to talk about a very important thing, especially if you're a small business owner or a leader, and that is empathy. Now 90% of you think that you already have empathy, and I used to be one of those people as well. But what I realized that even though I have empathy, I never knew where to use it and when to use it. And this has cost me a lot of deals in the past. And that's why I had to develop this skill. I had to develop empathy. Now the reason for this could be so many things. It could be childhood trauma. It could be that our Indian society does not let us express our emotions in general. So that is why you need to build this. Because if you're a small business owner, then you deal with people every day. And if the people don't feel understood, then it can cost you lakhs and crores, and it can also cost you relationships. So empathy is something you have to learn for your business as well as life in general. So the video's goal is very simple: to tell you why you need it, where the lack of empathy is coming from, and actionable steps to build your empathy. Because what I saw in my past experience when I tried to learn empathy, there was no actionable steps available. It was all so general information that it took a lot of trial and error just to understand empathy. So first, let me give you a strong why for this. So in the past, when I was talking to a client and they texted me that Sumit, I have a medical emergency, I have to go for surgery. Can we reschedule the session? I texted them something really horrible. But what I should have said is that, yeah, definitely we can reschedule, and I want you to recover quickly. I want you to take care of your health right now. That is more important. But instead of that, I texted them, yeah, all right, we can reschedule, but could you complete the advance payment for the session? Now that was not the time to do that. And after sending that text, I realized, oh my God, why did I do this? And I tried to save the conversation as well. I tried to, after that, add that, yeah, I hope you recover and I hope we meet next week. But it was already gone. The ship had sailed. So I needed to understand how to avoid this in the future. Because again, it can cost me deals, and more importantly, I look like a horrible person, right? And that is why I realized that I have to build a skill. Now what I realized again is that people who lack empathy always have a me mindset instead of the them mindset. Now what is the me mindset? That everything has to be about me, everything revolves around me, and that can go horribly wrong in life. But when you have a them mindset, when you also understand what they are feeling and how they would react to what you said, that is when you flourish in life. So here let's first understand what empathy and apathy are. So empathy is when you understand the person, they feel heard. Apathy is when you're more insensitive and it's a more transactional relationship. So in the service industry, it's all about people. You have to build a skill. So now that the why is strong, I'm sure that you also had moments where you regretted not being more empathetic. So I won't be so brutal to ask you to share them in the comments, but I just want you to reflect on it. Now your why is strong. Now let's understand where it's coming from, right? So where the lack of empathy is coming from could be childhood trauma that was unresolved. It can also be because you didn't form meaningful relationships as a kid. Now personally, I used to shift a lot. Every year, I used to be in a new city. So I never got a chance to make meaningful friendships, to talk to a lot of people. And that's why I never built my empathy. It was all suppressed. It was there, but it never came out at the right time. So that was the first step. So the first step to building empathy is to reflect on your past self, your childhood self. And a good question to ask them, I want you to imagine that they are sitting right here, and I want you to ask them that what is it that you need, my child? And that's when you will understand what was lacking in your childhood. Like for me, affection, attention, and a lot of more things that I noted down was lacking. And once I understood that, I understood so much about myself. I understood sometimes I can be defensive. Sometimes I really lack that empathy. Sometimes I have a very survival mindset. And that's why it's all about me most of the times. And it's horrible. So I had to change that, right? So the first step is to understand your past. Then the second thing you have to realize is acceptance is key, right? Once you empathize with yourself, only then you can empathize with others. So let yourself know that, hey, it's okay you behave this way. It's okay you also had needs to be met. But now we want to improve this. We want to grow as a person. So let's change it together. Because if you try to force empathy inside you, it will never come. Because trust me, I have tried. I'm a person who likes instant results. And that's why in the past, I used to really force that empathy. But it never used to come to me. So I realized that I have to first accept that even I have needs, and that's okay. So one thing, the next time you have a sensitive situation, I want you to ask yourself that my needs are met and justified, but what about the other person's needs? Are they also met and justified? Just think about that. This will make the world of a difference. So now you know why, and now you know where. The third thing is, what do I do with this? How do I take action? Because I know that a lot of people, a lot of you guys want to take action on this, but you just don't have a clear path. So let me break it down for you. So suppose it's a text conversation. Then the first thing I suggest is turning off blue ticks. Because those blue ticks on WhatsApp make you feel pressured to respond instantly. So just turning them off can help you out. Then the second thing I suggest is having something called a 5-second rule, where you read the text twice and after that you wait for 5 seconds before you respond. Just think about what the person said, process it. Because sometimes what happens, you are so hurried to just give them a response that you never process what to say. And that can be a real tragedy. Then after you have the response, I want you to first put it on a notepad. Just read your response once and understand that if you were in the other person's place, would you react positively to this response or negatively? If the answer is positive, go ahead. And if you're seriously struggling, if you still don't know what is the right thing to say, I think you can take help of ChatGPT, but try to avoid this as much because your conversations will again start to sound very robotic. So you can take some advice here and there from ChatGPT, but in general, try to come up with a response on your own. Then the third thing you have to do is you have to observe, because even after doing these things, you will make mistakes. So take those past conversations, put it on your notepad app, and just think about it. Take your time. If it takes half an hour, 1 hour, think about how you could have responded to make the other person feel heard. So once you understand that and you have some past data, some past responses, then you know what to do next time. See, conversations are all about frameworks. Once you have experienced something, you can do it better the next time. It won't be the most effective solution, but at least it'll be better than where you were before, right? So try that. So turn off blue ticks, use the 5-second rule, and really look at the response before sending it and observe past conversations. So this is on text. Now when you're talking face to face, a big mistake that a lot of people make, especially when they don't have empathy, they're very apathetic, they start interrupting a lot. And this interruption makes the other person really rage and they might feel very angry, they might burst out on you. I have experienced this a lot in my past. And that's why, to stop being a serial interrupter, I like to do something called the 3-second rule. So when a person is speaking, until they take a pause of 3 seconds, I don't jump into the conversation, I don't barge in. That way they feel heard. And the only exception is if they ask you a question. If they ask you a question, you can take some time to respond, or if you want, you can respond immediately. But yeah, the general rule is when they are talking, unless they pause for 3 seconds, zip it, be quiet. Another thing you will face when you lack empathy is that you want to give solutions, you want to give a lot of advice very quickly. And sometimes people don't want that. People just want someone to listen to them. They don't want solutions, they don't want advice. So ask them permission. So the best thing to do, suppose you're having a conversation, your friend said that, hey, my relative passed away and I feel very sad about this. So instead of saying that, hey, this is what you can do, maybe watch some Netflix. No, leave that. Just hear them. Ask them, how do you feel? What are your best memories with them? Ask them more questions. Because you have to take the it's about me mindset and convert it into it's about them mindset. That is important. So talk about them. That will help the other person feel better. Now on your client calls, when you are apathetic, you will be doing something called conversation hogging. So suppose your client is sharing their experience and they're just being vulnerable with you for a moment. You're not supposed to take that conversation and just put in your own experience. So an example for this could be, suppose someone is struggling with losing weight and you have lost weight in the past. You're not supposed to say that, yeah, I understand what you feel. I also went through this and it took me years and it was painful. No. Don't make the conversation about your experience, because even though you're excited to share, it can come off in the wrong way where the person thinks that, yeah, this person is so self-absorbed. He only talks about himself. So instead of that, just listen. Tell them that I understand. I'm sorry to hear that. And ask them some questions about it. But never do conversation hogging. Another thing you have to practice is active listening. If you want to build empathy, active listening is key. So what happens in this generation is everybody loves doing multitasking. And I am personally guilty of this too. Maybe someone is talking and you're maybe working on an Excel sheet, or you're watching reels, or you're listening to music. Actually, I don't think listening to music works in this scenario, but you get the point. So when you're doing multitasking, you don't pay full attention to the conversation. That's why you miss out on so many details. So from today, if you're serious about building empathy with your clients, with relationships in general, then I want you to just stop everything you're doing and just listen to the person. Tune into what they're saying instead of doing multiple things at once. And after that, a good thing to do is try noting down the keywords or the important things they say so that you understand what they're talking about, you interpret it. Then while they're speaking, you can also process it. Once you process, only then you should speak, right? A big mistake I used to make before was I used to take the first thing in my mind and I used to just speak it out. I used to be like, this is the authentic self, so of course I should express it. But this is the wrong mindset and this will get you in trouble many times. So when someone says something, process it. Think about two things. Think about, is what I'm saying logical? And think about how it will make the other person feel. If you think that they will feel better, only then say it. Even if it's logical, it doesn't matter. Humans are very emotional creatures. So it's very important to do this. So practice active listening and definitely note down the keywords. So these are few things you can do to build your empathy, especially in an actionable way. And don't expect it to happen overnight. Even I expected that to happen, but it never happens. It takes at least a year or two. And your personality is ever growing, right? So add this to your arsenal, because trust me, you can be really bad at speaking. Your English could be horrible. You could have horrible body language. But if your empathy is good, you can win the hearts of most people. And that is what is very important as a business owner and as a person in general. So do these things, and if this video was helpful, you can subscribe to the channel. And if you need help with really understanding things like how to build authority in a client call, how to make my brand story, how to make a pitch, then I can help you with these things. All you have to do is either send me a DM or book a call with me, and we'll discuss how I can help you. So thank you for watching this video, and I really wish you the best when you build empathy. And I'm happy to help you guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Thank you for your time.